In this video, we're going to cover the four basic types of sales velocity in SoStock. So when you're setting up your account and you're setting up your forecast, this portion of the forecast over here covers your velocity. Now, the definition of velocity is daily sales average. And by default, you can see here that the adjusted velocity is taking these 7 periods of time, 180 days, 90 days, 60 days, 30, 15, 7, and 2, and averaging them out. Let's click in here and I'll explain this a little bit more. So in the last 180 days, if we were only looking at 180 days and all the sales made in that 180 days, minus any stockouts, and we divide the total number of units sold divided by the total number of in-stock sales days, our average would be 12.91. And the same for 90s, 90 day divided by 90, etc., etc., etc. And in these periods, this product has been stocked out for the last 15 days, so we're not including that. Normally, it would add up all 7 periods divided by 7, and that would be your total adjusted velocity. If I uncheck one of these boxes, it's going to re-average it based on the boxes that are checked. So by default, we're looking back at 180 days. And you can choose to include or exclude some of this data, and then go ahead and save it to this product or save and apply to all products or any grouping of products. You can also add in weighted averages if you want to. That's a little bit more complex. Most people don't do that, but you do have that option as well. And like I said, this will automatically filter out any stockouts. So that is the first way that you can set up your adjusted velocity. The second velocity metric is called manual velocity. And this is very unscientific. It's just a number that you plug in. Let's say this is a brand new product that you're launching and you have no historical sales, but you think this product is capable of selling 10 units a day. You would simply put 10 and save. And instead of looking at the historical trend of this product, it's only looking at an adjusted velocity of 10. Now this product is going to predict a future sale of 10 per day, and that shows up here on the inventory timeline. The third velocity metric is last year's sales. And this is one of my favorites because if you have a seasonal product or you want to mimic what you did last year, the system will basically take every single day, the number of units sold every day for the last year, and exactly mimic it for this next year. You can see here on every single day we have a unit sold column, and then we also have future spikes, lightning deals, trend. These are additional tools that you can add later. We're not going to get into these on this video, but right now we're just looking at last year's sales, and we're going to exactly mimic that for this year. And you can view this chart daily, weekly, or monthly. I like to view it monthly just so I can scroll through a little bit faster and get to the bottom. So you can see month by month how many units we've sold, including any seasonal changes. Save and apply that to this product. Or if you save and apply to multiple products, each product will have its own individual sales pattern. And as you can see, this was our sales last year, and these are our future predicted sales for this year, looking at last year's sales. Now, while I'm on last year's sales, I want to mention one tool that you can use in conjunction with this. If you scroll down here, we have a trend tool. You can turn on this trend tool. You can use this with any velocity metric. And I would suggest using a longer period of time, such as the last 365 days over the year before, and we can see if we're up or down. So you can see we're actually down by 6% from year over year. You can choose any period of time and compare it to an earlier period of time, and if you want, you can simply apply that to this product. I don't normally use this tool, but if you want to apply a trend from this year compared to last year, then that way you know that all the future sales, if I click this, let's say this was plus 5.9, and I was actually growing. If I click this button, it would simply add 6%, 5.9% to all of my future daily sales. If you don't know the trend or if that trend doesn't make sense to you, you can also just add additional sales growth down here. Say, I want to use last year's sales, but I want to add an additional 15%. Boom. You can choose that percentage without trying to calculate a trend and just assume growth on top of your last year's sales. Now, a couple of things about last year's sales. It will automatically incorporate your stockouts. So you can see we have stockouts calculated down here. These are the days when we hit zero inventory, and they are being removed from both my adjusted velocity, and those stockout days are also being removed from my last year's sales. If I scroll through here, any day that is marked with an asterisk is a stockout day. and you'll see a little asterisk next to that number. For example, down here, when we just started stocking out on this product recently, you can see that instead of showing a 0 for 0 sales made, which is true, we didn't actually make any sales on February 7th, it's replacing this with 12.13. And 12.13 is a calculation of the 30 days surrounding this stock out. Okay, great. So that's how the last year's sales tool works. The last one I want to cover is new, and it's called the demand plan. I'm not going to go too much into detail on this one because it has its own tutorial. This is an advanced tool, and really all it really boils down to is you can basically download a file from our bulk import export page. You can download the demand plan. You're basically going to tell the system week by week for the next 52 weeks, how many units per week do I expect to sell on this product. The purpose of the demand plan is for products that don't have historical sales value, but you want to upload some kind of a plan for the future sales. This is mostly used for agencies and bigger companies that know what their products are capable of selling. They just don't have it in historical Amazon sales figures, and you can also do it in bulk across many products at the same time. That's a new feature that you can use, and you would just watch that tutorial and upload it here. So that covers the 4 different metrics of adjusted velocity. And once you have your chosen adjusted velocity set up across your products, you should have a future sales chart that makes sense to you, is meaningful, and of course, an inventory timeline that shows you what your sales are going to look like. In the next videos, we're going to talk about setting up order schedule, transfer schedule, as well as future marketing and different things like that, seasonality, lightning deals, and other tools that you can use on your forecast to further fine-tune it. But the most important thing is to get your velocity set up. So let's get that done now.